Bald Head Island is a small village on the southeastern coast of North Carolina. Many things define it, but none so powerful, none so haunting as the death of one of Bald Head's finest 8 years ago. Reporter Jennifer Carpenter has the story.
To the unknowing observer, not much has changed on Bald Head Island through the years. Fishermen still cast lines into ocean crests. Prim white gentry still play croquet. The sun still sets over sea oats. But there are changes you can't see. Changes in the hearts and minds of Bald Head locals, brought on by the haunting memory of fallen police officer Davina Jones.
And said 10-12, and then her radio keyed up and I could hear her advising someone to put the gun down. There was no guns allowed on Bald Head Island, although I can't make contact back with her. 4205, you're advising you need rescue?
I can pick rescue here now.
10-4, they're en route.
And when you look at the evidence, it's just not, it's not there. You got two state medical examiners who say it's suicide. You've got a state psychiatrist who's reviewed the file, says it's suicide. I mean, that's what the state's experts say.
Rex Gore is Brunswick County District Attorney. In the opinion of the state of North Carolina, Davina Jones committed suicide.
Well, I think the case is solved, and you have to base your feelings about what happened on the evidence that's in place. It points to a decision that she was not murdered, that she chose a different path.
Whatever Davina Jones chose or did not choose has led at least her family on a path for answers, a fight for their daughter's good name.
And I'm a firm believer, and I'll go to my grave believing this has been guided by a higher being.
Davina's parents, Loy and Harriet Buff, have been preserving her memory for 8 years. They seek proof of what they believe was a homicide, not a suicide.
So we were going to fight this, no matter what it took or how much it cost us, because we knew her, to prove that she did not do this.
The Buffs examined the evidence themselves and took their claims to the North Carolina Industrial Commission. In 2005, the North Carolina Department of Justice declared Davina's death undetermined. Drive down the narrow, canopy paths of Bald Head or stand on the docks by the Sound. It's quiet. Nothing much has changed in Brunswick County, including the DA's ruling.
In light of what we knew from the medical examiner and the other experts who testified, we're just not in a position where we were going to reopen the case.
But that doesn't stop the family from fighting or blaming Gore for Brunswick County's refusal to reinvestigate.
I'll die telling him that he is a coward.
For the rest of their lives, Loy and Harriet will defend their daughter's reputation. They have their fond memories, pictures, and their stories to fuel them. And they have her last words. The last words she'd ever speak on police radio near the old Baldy Lighthouse.
4206. 10-4, show me out with 3. Stand by, please. And maybe we're going to have a gun here on Bald Head Island, okay? Come on, do me a favor. Put down.
And this is what she was wearing from July until she was killed. It makes me sick in my stomach that they played that game with me, played that game with our family, and especially did that to Davina. And the gall that Sheriff Hewitt had to give me an American flag that Jesse Helms got from the Capitol of the United States and put it in my arms and played that game with me, you don't want to hear what I really think.
All of us who ever were involved with Davina Buff Jones, we're here because of her and what happened that night.
Not much has changed on Bald Head Island through the years. Loy and Harriet still fight for a ruling of homicide. Rex Gore still believes it was suicide. And the memory of Davina Jones is still haunting this tiny village. Unlike the footprint in the sand, Davina's memory has not washed from Bald Head Island. Her parents say it never will. At Bald Head Island, I'm Jennifer Carpenter. Carolina Week.
Next week, the effect this case has had on the island's town manager, who thinks it was murder, not suicide. You probably are used to turning your clocks back on the last Sunday in October, but thanks to the Energy Policy Act of 2005, you'll need to set your alarm clock for an hour later this Sunday, November 4th. This helps save energy because we won't have to turn on lights quite as early during this week. But be aware, computer experts advise that you should check your electronic devices, VCRs, alarm clocks, and some computers might not update correctly.
The UNC chapter of Delta Upsilon began a long-term commitment in assisting the Orange County chapter of the American Red Cross yesterday. DU kicked off its new partnership with the Red Cross by hosting a blood drive. Each donor had to register, complete a questionnaire, and give a pint of blood. DU expected at least 25 people to donate, the greatest number the Bloodmobile could accommodate in a 3-hour time span.
New laws popping up across the South have some questioning whether the fashion police have overstepped their bounds. Local governments in Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas are considering or have already passed ordinances cracking down on saggy pants. Punishments include fines and even jail time. The Dallas city government has teamed up with rapper Dooney DePriest to create a campaign against the style with the rapper's song Pull Your Pants Up as an anthem. The Chapel Hill information officer says the town is unlikely at this point to consider a law that would ban an article of clothing.
Sunny skies are back in Chapel Hill after last week's 3-day drenching. Despite the rain, we still shouldn't waste water because North Carolina isn't out of the woods just yet. Governor Mike Easley has activated a state emergency team to deal with the drought and has again asked for a statewide water conservation. At least 30 inches of rain is needed to completely make up for the rainfall deficit. But for now, the skies remain cloudless, and the leaves aren't staying on many trees long enough to change colors.
And we're joined now by weathercaster Johnny O.
Happy Halloween, Johnny O.
Well, howdy to you folks. It was a tricky forecast to make, but are we going to have a treat? Your ghoulish Franklin Street forecast is coming up next.